YouTube and those joining us direct from Facebook. We we actually are live on the two mediums because it is necessary to reach the desired kind of people that I am giving them this gift today. Life has given me a lot of gifts and chances, and for the people that have been labeled drama queens, they've labeled you names that sometimes you even don't know where to really hide. So, for a reason or two, people have been named names based on the kind of things they are identified with. And most identification of these kind of things are usually what people have decided that it is your personality, and they say that is you. It is important to know that we are all controlled by something that is present in every one of us, and it is called energy. And when energy is transmitted either from our brain to the body or from the body to the brain, we exhibit certain type of reactions, and it is these reactions that are making you appear in a certain way. But there is also the state that you are in when this energy is being transmitted, because in my earlier discussions I have spoken about how important energy is and how important it is to understand before you decide to control or manage the energy. So, a lot of people have been listening or been getting advice from people that are really not the very best persons to take instructions or advice from. You want to learn how to fly, you learn from an experienced pilot, or you learn from a professional who has taught it over and over again, and we didn't hear a situation of people having to do accidents because of their either the way they were not trained well or the way an instruction was not passed out correctly. But in most cases, it has never really been a problem of instructions not passed correctly, but rather how information is usually disseminated and interpreted. Because I can speak so well when I am here, I can do so much so well when I am here. I might mean what I mean, but someone else out there might decide to interpret it in their own language. Now, when that happens, most people have been victims of a great misunderstanding, especially people who are living with a certain kind of special challenge. I don't call it a disorder, but if some departments in medicine have decided to call it a disorder, then we'll call it borderline personality disorders. Now, so people who are suffering from this kind of thing, some of you people are there and you don't even know. You just think that me, hey, you know the kind of anger that I have. You just don't dare try me. That is the language you speak. That is the way you want people to see you, because you are unable to understand what this is. You struggle with it so much until you reach a point where you decided to own it and you became that kind of person. And now, when people ask you about you or someone crosses your line, normally it's when people cross your line that is now when you will find people with borderline getting completely at the edge. And the challenge when you are having a borderline personality is you you govern everything, you control everything, but you do not control your emotion, because this ability to master an emotion that you first of all you don't understand. When it's fear, you fear so much something, and your mind for years processes that information in a certain way. By processing this information in a certain way over a set period of time, you do this pattern repeatedly, it becomes your habit. That your habit is now what people identify you with, and they label you according to what they can see, not what you say you are. For example, for a long time, I was really wondering why I am not able to influence a certain particular person that was important to me in my life. But they were busy interpreting the way I behaved in a certain point in time in life, and that manner that I reacted to a threat, or rather to a trigger, became my identity, and I could not effectively influence that person. So the message that goes out there when I'm opening my mouth to express something, I'm already branded. So that becomes my identity, and that becomes who you are. So you repeatedly do something, and that pattern, when it is repeated and it's repeated, well, that is what people say you are, because that is what they see. There's one message that I got from one of my uncles who was also my principal in school, and he said you only get one chance to you have to give the first impression, and you can never ever uncommunicate what you have already communicated. Now, if I want to be seen as someone gentle, nice, can do no harm, I need to be consistent. Like what I'm saying, when people are looking at me, the ones that I am not saying with my mouth, but I am saying with my body, that's stubborn. Who do you think you are? Quietly, my body is saying that, but my mouth is telling you, yeah, I can listen, I can take your advice, but your body is like, whom do you think you are? So when you're talking to someone, women, when you go out on a date, and you are in front of the kind of man that you didn't ever want to meet. Some people can really have a way with words. Yeah, I know of a friend, she has a way with words, and she can really flatter. Yeah, because she got used to doing things that way. But I, unfortunately, I I finished that part of flattering, and I just people tell people as it is. Why? I learned the hard way, when you do not say no loud enough and clear enough, there are people that will be a demon in your blood. They will never leave you. They are there to stay. Everywhere you go, like they are a shadow in your life. You go here, they're there. You go here, they're there. Now, traits or patterns that we have follow us throughout, and that is what people see when they're engaging with you, whether it is in business or they're engaging with you, whether it is the family way. That is what people have always seen. Now, how do you handle other people? Because you think, I am the most nice person, I am generous, I help people all the time, sometimes I do it for free, oh, I like people, I like buying people gifts. But when you are giving that gift, you can't resist to overpraise yourself. When you are giving that, whatever you're giving, you can't resist the temptation to be sarcastic and say, actually, I'm giving you this perfume because I think the smell you carry is not the very best. How will that person take that perfume? They will not take it. And if they took it, they will never use it, because what the mind will stop That good meal that I bought you on the eve of Christmas, you will not remember. But the fight we had on the 26th of December, you will remember it for a very, very long period of time, because every other thing is just anything. But the brain will look for what to register, and others that are not important, it will throw it away. That is why, when if you're a student and you're listening to me, the fact that you listen once to the professor, it doesn't make it enough for you to store it. That is why you have to revise. You have to listen to the same thing repeatedly. Now, when you listen to this thing repeatedly, it makes a pattern of you that we cannot just only identify this person with what she said or what she writes in her brochures, but we can be guaranteed that she is that person in the morning, in the evening, upset, not upset. I never get upset. I just get interestingly, amazingly emotional. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to redefine what I feel when I am put at the age. Why do you feel the way you feel? You might feel the way you feel because there's a person. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. There is a person who behaves as occasion demands. And then there is a person who may never know how to behave when the scenario changes. Now, people are themselves when they are put in the most difficult and trying time. Yeah? Challenges or problems show who we are. Now, when we don't have any challenge, when we don't have any problem, we may turn and turn in circles, doing the same thing all over and over again. People believe that is who we are, but let you be given the opportunity either to be exposed towards lack of money or plenty of it. People behave different. In parties, people are sometimes themselves, but when they are at work, they could be someone else. That is why it has been difficult for some people to be judged in public opinion, because some people carry two or three personality types. In the house, they are monsters. They are people that you never ever want to meet. But when you go back there inside the, the depth of their heart, you find a person that is afraid of everything, is afraid of everything. But what people see is that aggressivity, that irritability. Who do you think you are? I will deal with you before you don't even dare try. So, what that kind of thing does is people get confused. And then now you are going to work. At work, there are rules. You love your job so much. And by love of that your job, you keep to a certain criteria that has already been described to you by those terms and conditions apply. And then people really may not really know you. So you're a man and they hear that you had serious trouble and you couldn't control your emotions, especially when you think you are attracted to a person that is of the opposite sex, but the age is not the one that is allowed. I'm talking about the situation where judge very men who are in very high standing in society for a situation where they went for incest, or they fell in for pedophilia or other things that are even worse. Now, that same person who could be a judge somewhere, that same person who could be a highly respected professor, that same person who could be a youth leader, either in church or the one you've entrusted with all the youth in the community, you might not really connect the two. But see, there's what is inside. You have a war within yourself. That is the war of who you really are inside. And then there is that other person out there that people want to see. And when that inner you takes over, now you do what you do, and that is who you are. So if you're a judge and you're trying to play games with people and say, well, there's no sufficient evidence to prove this, people are exactly what they carry inside them and not what you detect them to do. put people in a crisis. Like, for example, all over the world, we are faced with one common enemy, which is a C word. Now, this C word has not only controlled some people that they're behaving so well, some ones have become so good they're cleaning and cleaning enough and making sure that the ones who prepare the meal, just to be sure, if you are a talk like me, you will make sure you're the one who prepares the meal, the salad, and make sure you wash your hands enough thoroughly and take care of the rest of the family. That is the only advantage of being a talk, where you have that disorder where you believe it in your head that germs are everywhere, and then you pay so much attention to it, and then you be cleaning and over cleaning and over cleaning. So the result, the only thing that the rest of the world can get, the rest of the world will get a very clean person, obsessed with cleanliness, obsessed with certain details, smells, and all the kind of things that others find it very difficult to live around you. Now, if this is you, and if this is a scenario, you have other challenges that are inside you. You have a certain big fear. That fear can overcome you, and then you may not really know how to behave when now someone that you think is very, very dirty and potentially can mess around with your health is around you. I know of a girl that she imagines that when you are around and you have a strong body odor, she believes that you are dirty and she thinks you should wash. She thinks she can really be nasty to some people. Now, if you are intelligent enough, you joke around and laugh around and say, okay, now can we wash hands now again? Can we do this and do that? And then she's very happy. She's in control of the situation. She's so sure there is no germ anywhere. But that doesn't mean she never gets sick, and people around her don't get sick. They get sick because when we are not paying attention, just that 1 minute that the body is too clean, so that's when you succumb to some of these things. Since the mind controls everything, you go somewhere. Like yesterday, I was in a certain public and I was going there to do some tests to know what is really happening inside me. And I am surrounded with people that are impatient to know the results of oh, okay, the pandemic is out there, it is changing, it's mutating, of course. People want to go and kill you. Won't you change and hide and change form so that they don't see you? So that is what the C word has done, and it has mutated, and now we have the Brazilian, the South African, the English variant. I think there are so many. I think maybe I even have my own variant living inside me. How do I know? Because it has not really been detected yet. We will know from the results. But you you are so much controlled with that thing that makes you fear so much, and the way you behave under the influence of fear might be the way people are going to interpret who you really are. Now, some people, out of fear of the unknown, they have gone and they have decided to just they have massacred the beautiful city of Amsterdam in the name of, why are you trying to lock me up? Actually, they're not afraid of being locked up. They are afraid of not knowing what is going to catch them there where they do. When they're not able to go out there and find out things for yourself. Some people, it's too hard. Okay, technology has made life simple for us. You can just tweet, you can find out those tweets of things here and there by the people that you relate to, and you will know what's happening uh, outside you. Before that, it will be okay. We communicated differently 1,000 years ago, and right now we're communicating differently. 800 years ago, it was another era. This time now we're in another era of information. So what you need is information. You don't need to over not say over dramatize, but give an exaggerated reaction of what your fears are. But when you do that, this is what you're most likely to encounter. When you exaggerate on this thing that I call fear, you end up offending others, because when you are upset, sometimes that is when now it's our biggest test. The emotion, the energy that is negative in you rises, and what inside is of a man is, we just realize when they're upset. You say things that you don't mean. I remember when that the other time some community was offended. They called a human being animals and everything. They did everything crazy because they were expressing anger. Now, I understood they were expressing anger. But you see, if you live in a country where there's law and order, after the end of the day, someone will come and ask you, why did you destroy this? Why did you burn this building? Why did you break this glass? Why did you touch someone's house? And you are just angry. When it comes to anger, I will take you to a very, very, very disturbing event. I was managing a department, or rather, I was managing a shop in a shop, and I was privy to be serving and working with people who were actually planning to go and execute others. You can imagine the way that the fear of even that I am next to this person was enough to make me numb, and I didn't know how to feel. My reactions went flat. Now, when the customer who comes to the shop and says, I am in need of this equipment and I need this number of it. And I say, this can be used in two things: what these boys were discussing behind my back, or they really are going to cut down sugarcane. So the authority is between me and my colleague to either accept to release these goods or say we don't have. So we switch, we talk to each other in coded language, and we say, tell them we don't have enough. We only have this number of things. Why? Because how do we know if we are able to prevent a calamity? But then we were not fast enough to think that at the time when we were causing that resistance, there was someone else in the other branch who was very quick to sell. And in 20 minutes, we get a call and he says, how much of this do you have in your store? Why? Because I've just sold this number and it needs to be picked in the next 15 minutes. So I'm sending over the driver, and so you cannot sell. No, don't sell even one. Keep all that you have. Then I sat down. I started visualizing what the boys that were working with me that had been okay. They were in an altered state, so they were high on something specifically to make them do those kind of things that they're supposed to do. They were very young, and that is why they were used. They had the energy. I visualized what they were going to do either that night or in 2 days. I wasn't so sure of the date because there was a little bit of a language barrier and I was just speaking what I understood. I was so terrified. I I was between, I want to call the boss and say, would you ask so and so and so and so to be here in the shop to take care of it at night because it's dangerous, so that I prevent them to go and do that act. I was thinking of everything to stop. And then all hell broke loose when finally the consignment leaves, and I say, even if they don't go, these things have gone and they're going to be in the hands of someone. Now, I have my phone. I want to use it, but the only problem is that it's only for internal communication. I cannot communicate with people that are being targeted for either that night or in 2 days' time. And the pressure gets all over me, and all of a sudden, I cannot breathe. The same people who are going to take care of other people's life. They said, they used to call me mom. Mom, hey, Mother, what is wrong? You remember we are relying on you. You are our backup. Otherwise, who will feed us? So inside, I feel like I should just die so that I don't have to really be their backup, because they're counting on me that when they've finished all the skirmishes out there, they're counting on me to come and actually give them. You see, there's normally food that you don't sell in a supermarket, yeah. So they're counting on me to do that. That was the most horrible experience. You really feel that the body wants to come back. Why? I'm thinking about my children. They're alone. My daughter was 2.5. The other one was 1.5. They are in the house, and I'm thinking about, if I allow this to happen, so that I don't have to answer to this, someone else would be out having to look after them, and I don't know how they look about it. So there was that war inside me, and the more it went on, the more my body behaved strange ways. So they're accompanying next to a doctor, and I say, take me to this doctor, not anywhere else. And then they go back to planning their execution for tonight. There I'm at the doctor, and he tells me, if you don't stop thinking about what you're thinking, you are going to leave us. My pressure had gone so low, same body. My pressure had gone so low, and There was nothing that can be done. So he said, I will take a risk. I will try to start you up. I'm giving you something. I don't even want to tell you the name because I don't want you to try this at home. It's the only option I have. But I'll put you to sleep after that. When I'm sure you are back, I'll put you to sleep. Then I said, okay, do as you wish. So I sleep up to 6 in the evening. And then when I wake up, I'm like, my children, my children, my children. When I tried to leave outside, we couldn't move. When we cannot walk, you can't go anywhere. Why? Everyone had taken shelter, even those that were not seeking treatment. They were in this clinic and we were all hiding there. Then we hear one person scream, and then I peep out of curiosity and I just watch in front of me. The item I refuse to sell has just been used. Someone's head is not there, right in front of me. I said, do I recover or I just die? No, I have to keep living because I have to run and protect my daughter. So I wait for things to calm down. I use the same boys. I say, are you around? Mom needs your escort. They say, we are busy, but we are sending you someone who is just, where are you? I say, I went to pee in the toilet, so I'm stuck there. And they say, no problem, we are coming for you. And they come and escort me. These same very bad, wicked boys, they told me we are escorting you out to security because after that we have betrayed our group, so we'll have to go back. But don't think of coming to work tomorrow because we are taking over everything. Now everything belongs to us. You don't have to answer to anything. I feel like I want to warn the owner. And I said, what will you do? He's in the other cities, in Nakuru, I'm in Nairobi. What will I do? Then I just said, there's one man who told me, actually, it was a woman, she was called Sarah, that whenever you cannot change the situation, you brace it. So I accept and I get energy back in my feet and I walk. It was 1.5 kilometers. It felt like walking 25 kilometers. It was the longest walk. I walk until when I reach home, I look around to be sure that the friends of the boys that escorted me did not decide to change their mind. The image of the head with the body still kicking is still in my head. I went inside and I decided that I'm gonna forget it because I now need to embrace my girls. So I asked them, are you fine? Yes. They tell me one of the neighbors, he went and he took something from the house and he left very fast and very much in anger. I said, oh no, I don't want to know another person. Why? Because I don't want to live with the guilt of not having to denounce something. So I use what people use today to forget trauma and I blocked that part in my brain. I buried it only to reopen it 7 years ago when I was in a session because there was mistrust that I would never ever trust anyone, no matter how good they look, because I saw people that were so nice and were also so dangerous, and they were working with me and they were promising me they will protect me. And the next minute, they did something heinous. And I couldn't, that thing, I could not judge them. Now, for people that haven't seen violence, you haven't seen, I'd seen violence before, I'd seen other things before, yeah, where people are just boxing each other. It was like wrestling, it was not harmful. But this one stayed there in my head. And the only way for it not to affect me so much was to block that process in my head of thinking about what I saw. I tried to compose myself, I could not. So the end of the month in January 28th, when the late Kofi Annan signs a peace agreement and he puts the two people that people thought they were fighting for, and they put people to shake hands. That joy that came inside me, I just screamed like a mad woman. And I forgot I was still there, and these boys were not happy that we had resolved. And they said, "Are you trying to betray?" I said, "No, no, it was a movie I was watching." So I quickly clicked onto my computer and I put some streaming, and I looked at it and I said, "This is what I was watching. Nothing to do with what has been announced." And they say, "It's okay because you cannot betray the boys." I said, "It's okay." I organized my exit. The only way was to look for someone else who needed the job better than me, train the person, and exit. Why? I couldn't stay in the same place looking at the same faces. Although some of them I knew they would not be there for long, because after that now they will be have to go and face the law, and then you never know what happens. But just living with them under the same roof was the most difficult experience. I don't know about what you have seen. Watching people just women just being violated with, I don't know. No, there's so much to worry about, but okay, all that and more. I think I've seen, but the one that just took a breath, and it looked like it took 10 years out of me, was seeing that head that I saw 25 minutes before, and he said, "Me, I am leaving," and actually he left for good because he left for forever. He just represented a threat, or he just did not obey enough, or he didn't fear enough, and that is how he went. He didn't belong to the wrong tribe. He didn't belong to the wrong group. He was just in the wrong place, and he represented a threat to what was about to be executed, and he was gone like that. So after that, distinguishing between what is good and what is not, it became something that I am thinking of so hard. When people are trying to convince me that they are going to do something good, I am always looking at them with that eye of, what else are you not telling me? Why? Because I was being told I'm the backup, and then the next hour I'm told something different, or I see something different. Then the next 2 weeks, well, now we are told now go back to normalcy because people need to feed, and when you're working inside a supermarket, you need to be there for people to feed. Now, whenever I see calamity that is so big, all I try not to remember is a supermarket because it is a trigger. When situation turned in the world and I saw there was a lot of uprising in Europe, the place I did want to be is a supermarket. So someone in my house has been a slave going shopping and he doesn't know why. The reason he had to go shopping is because I was avoiding at all costs to be put in that corner where you can't do nothing. You can hear, you can think, but just don't tell us what you think. That 1 hour and a half of the 2nd of January is a year and a time that even if I block my mind so much, the mind has refused to forget that when things go wrong, do not be in a supermarket. Do not be in a closed place. Do not be in a road that looks like this. It has programmed me, and when you're walking with me, I develop eyes. I see those innocent like potential dangers everywhere. That is why when there's a time when I decided to do some things that were a little bit bizarre, I was literally trying to pick up bad people and informing the police that one. I was just trying to make the world I live in as safe as possible, but most of all, for my daughters. They were at home, they didn't see what I see. Then they watched the orange and the red on the screens, and they were very, very happy competing. One was the other side on the other side. They were just children. One was beginning to talk, and that was I didn't even tell their father what I seen. When he suggested that if things don't improve, we are going to Canada, before he finished the statement, I said, yes, I will look for a passport. And he said, but you see, there's the logistics. Don't give me details. Yes, I said yes. Well, so that impulsivity didn't just end there. It followed me for a very long time. Anytime I feel like I will be cornered, I make an impulsive decision. Sometimes it's gonna be very cold that you don't have nothing to wear. You decide to go shopping and I buy things that I don't need or I already have. I just don't ever want to be found unprepared. So that has been the experience for me where fear, trauma married, and they produce what doctors will call a deep trauma or borderline. I think mostly of the worst case scenario before I think of the other option. But that is not a very much blessing, neither is it a curse. It is what it is. It is living. So I won't bother you. If you like what I talked about, or rather you find you are one person who's been living in the past for so long and we are today like me, let us walk this journey together into healing. Let us just walk this journey together. Join me in Web Talk. Go and search IEG Kenya and look for Emily Mwale. Or follow me on Facebook. But if you want a deeper explanation of a method I use that has helped me get before you today, then in those two areas, apart from dropping your email address so that I send you my original transcript of the copy of the book that I have prepared to help you overcome your trauma, I'm inviting you to simply add victim of trauma or borderline. Don't love me. Don't. There are messages that I don't understand. My mind refuses to interpret love. So don't love me. Don't what. You can like, but don't love me. That is the message I'm still yet to understand the meaning. Even if I'm in a school to learn how to love, but the meaning of love is another one that is misconstrued in my head. And please, thank you. Love and keep it in your heart. Thank you. So, like, share, because I want to help someone that is dealing with very deep trauma, that don't want to take pills, neither do you want to go through the deep, long process that I had to go through for 7 years to be finally free. I know I have deliberately blocked that love area. Why? Because I'm waiting for the time that my mind detaches from the wrong information it got about the message I got about love. And that is that time, then I will be open to love, the kind of love that people are talking about. But anyway, there's the general love, the agape, the love of God, or rather the love of humanity. That one is there. Take care of yourself, and I'm waiting to see you soon. That has been Emily Mwale. We'll be seeing you once again very, very soon. Yeah, for those that are on Facebook, just trying to get it right. Be in the group and you're going to find it easy. But for those for those that are joining me on direct in YouTube, I will try to keep it for a replay. If I don't succeed, you will still find it on my page in Facebook. Click on the link and then you come and watch this your mental state and your inner image. That's been a talk. For Facebook, don't quit yet because I got an activity for you. But for YouTube, bye for now.